It is race 2 here from Sepang, the reverse grid race, top 10 reversed order, so 10th place starts from pole, etc., etc., etc. If you finish below the top 10, you start where you finished. And let's go through the grid here on race 2 after watching Caleb Gonzalez take race 1. On pole will be Mike Magasevich, starting from P2, and I think the man, probably the danger man in this race, Dule Markovic. He finished 9th in race 1. Had a couple of collisions. Definitely, I think, has a little bit more pace than it probably shows. Rick Martel will start from 3rd in the Mercedes AMG, followed by the Audi of Mark Minahan, the second generation R8. Callaway C7 Corvette of Mike Mark will start from 5th place. 6th place will be Ben Schwari in the BMW M6. 7th place, Wesley Stokes in the Mercedes-Benz AMG. Then it's the RUF engineered Porsche of Alessio De Bonis. Martin Lauer, looking to join the 1,000 points career club with Wesley Stokes. Starts from 9th place in his Audi R8 2nd gen. Then it's the McLaren of Caleb Gonzalez, race 1 winner. And the guys starting from where they finished, Mark Klapzul in the Callaway C7 and the Audi 2nd generation of Dean Reimers. We were also missing the P45 competition zone of Jeff Croshier from this race. He was unable to make the grid for race 2 as that car continues to struggle with its development. Let's get rolling. Magasevich traditionally a pretty good starter, so he has a good chance to possibly maintain the lead heading into turn 1. Although these Mercedes have struggled in that first turn. And they are off. It looks like Magasevich has gotten a good one. He's drifting over to block off Dule Markovic and does successfully. But he's going to give the inside line, so maybe not the greatest plan. He holds the lead for now, but Markovic has got the inside of him. Rick Martel spinning out in the background. Heading through race 2, it's still Magasevich leading. Mike Mark and Wesley Stokes dicing for 3rd place. Fantastic start for Stokes. And Magasevich will hold the lead with his teammate Stokes in 3rd and Markovic in between them in the Porsche. Mark Klapzul coming back at the end there, and him and Rick Martel appear to have had problems. Magasevich leading from Markovic, Stokes 3rd, Mark 5th, 4th, 5th bonus, 6th place for Lauer, 7th place for Schwari, 8th place for Minahan, 9th place for Gonzalez, 10th place for Reimers, and then Klapzul and Martel, the cars that had struggles at the start. Bit of contact there between Mike Mark and Alessio De Bonis. It is the trailing car that eats the dust. Martin Lauer is going to take us 2 spots off of that and move into 4th position. Still Magasevich leading from Markovic. Stokes, Magasevich going wide, but he manages to come back. It's going to be a little wide again, though. That Mercedes is not handling things well on a full load of fuel. He still has Markovic on his tail, followed by Stokes and Lauer. And there it is, 3 wide! Stokes takes Markovic and moves into 2nd place. It's the Falcon Autosports Mercedes are now 1-2. Mike Magasevich gets very wide, though. That's going to give the lead to Wes Stokes. Martin Lauer's through as well as Dule Markovic. Mike Mark is coming through. Ben Schwari's in the mix. Caleb Gonzalez in the mix. Mark Minahan, Dean Reimers also all in there. Let's see what happens here as things get settled. Magasevich and Mark goes side by side. Magasevich gets clipped and spun around. That's going to drop him probably to the back of the pack, except for maybe Rick Martel. And Martin Lauer has ended up in the lead. How did that happen? Wesley Stokes was in the lead, and he's now down to 3rd place. Did the Falcon Autosports Mercedes get super wide in the last turn? It looks like he might have. Let's have a look here as we get on board with Martin Lauer. Yeah, it's just a really wide line from the Mercedes. He gets undercut by both the Porsche and the Audi. And it is Lauer from Markovic and Stokes now, with 4th place belonging to Mark. And then it's Gonzalez, Schwari, Minahan, Reimers, and De Bonis in the mix. Stokes looking to make a run on Markovic. But we saw Markovic do some very tight lines into this first turn. I just don't think that anyone in a Mercedes can really rival the line that Markovic can take through these opening curves. Mike Marcus in 4th place in the Corvette. Gonzalez is up to 5th after winning race 1. He's followed by Schwari and Minahan. Then it's Reimers in 8th, De Bonis in 9th, 10th for Klapzul, 11th for Rick Martel, and 12th for Mike Magasevich, who has let a pole position slip away from him now and is running at the back of the pack. Lauer is starting to sprint away as there's a bit of a train forming behind Markovic. It is led by Wesley Stokes, followed by Mark, Caleb Gonzalez. Gonzalez going off! Gonzalez losing control of the car. Mark way off track as well. This is going to open up a huge door for Mark Minahan and Ben Schwarry, who are going to move into 4th and 5th position. And then Mark is going to rejoin in 6th ahead of DeBonis, 7th, 8th for Reimers, 9th for Klapzul, 10th now for Caleb Gonzalez, 11th for Martel, and 12th for Magasevich. Still chugging away in the lead, Martin Lauer. Wesley Stokes in 2nd place, 3rd place for Mark Minahan now, 4th place for Ben Schwarry, 5th for Mike Marks, 6th for DeBonis, 7th for Reimers, 8th for Klapzul despite his problems on lap 1. Then it's Markovic who's made a mistake and has dropped back to 9th place, and he's got Caleb Gonzalez on his tail. Markovic goes off, and that's going to promote Gonzalez and Martel to 8th and 9th position. Or 9th and 10th, I do believe. So leading the way, it is still Martin Lauer. This is a 7-lap race. He's followed by Wesley Stokes. Mark Minahan is holding on to 3rd, taking advantage of his solid grid position to lead Schwarry, who's 4th. 5th for DeBonis, whose car is showing some scars of battle. You can see that part of the splitter is bent up, as well as the bonnet. He's under pressure from Mike Mark, who's in 6th place. Dean Reimers 7th, 8th for Mark Klapzul, 9th for Caleb Gonzalez, and 10th for Rick Martel. Markovic is 11th, and Magasevich is 12th. The front row guys have not taken advantage of their great starting positions. They're actually running at the back. Schwarry under pressure from DeBonis, who's gotten around Mike Mark into 5th place. DeBonis was the third place man in race 1. He'll be looking for a good result here as well, but that damaged car may hurt him. Mike Mark now sliding back under pressure from Dean Reimers. Schwarry way off the track. What happened to Ben Schwarry? The BMW is now being passed by Mark Klapzul, who will eventually be his teammate in those BMW M6s, but he was way off the track. What happened? We ride on board with Ben Schwarry, who just loses it. Doesn't look like there was any contact. Just loses control of the BMW and will drop way back from the solid 4th place he was running in. Martin Lauer, in the meantime, still very much in the lead. Wesley Stokes in 2nd place, followed by Mark Minahan. 4th is now belongs to Alessio DeBonis, who's putting the pressure on Minahan, looking for a podium. 5th place for Dean Reimers, who's coming from 12th on the grid, dead last to now 5th place. What a race from the Dynamo Lynx Audi R8 of Dean Reimers, who gets very wide as I put the caster's curse on him. And Mike Marks got the pressure on, and Mike Marks going to go through in the Callaway C7 up into 5th position. Mark Klapzul sideways in the background. Didn't see what caused that. It looks like DeBonis is going to get through on Minahan into 3rd, or will he not? Minahan does have the switchback. But it is going to be Alessio DeBonis into 3rd. Battle on for 5th place between Mike Mark and Dean Reimers in 6th place. 7th is Schwarry, who's recovering somewhat. The banged up Porsche of Dule Markovic is 8th ahead of Rick Martel and Mark Klapzul. Mike Magasevich is 11th, and we have lost somewhere along the line Caleb Gonzalez. The McLaren 650S no longer circulating. We will not have a repeat winner in this race, as the winner of race 1 is out of the race. It is Lauer from Stokes into bonus. Minahan in 4th, 5th for Mike Marks, 6th for Dean Reimers, 7th for Ben Schwarry, 8th for Dule Markovic, 9th for Rick Martel, and 10th for Mark Klapzul. Outside the points is Mike Magasevich in the green Mercedes in the background. He started this race on pole and has gone nothing but backwards to the back of the pack. The contrast to that is the man who started in 12th position, dead last, Dean Reimers, is up to 6th, and he is putting the pressure on the Callaway of Mike Mark. Also, I believe is the Silver Cup leader at the moment in this race. Contact with Mike Mark and Dean Reimers on the switchback there. Looks like Mike Mark has held it remarkably well. Check the front end of Reimers for any contact damage. Doesn't look like he has any. Looks like the car is intact. So let's go through the Silver Cup as I just mentioned it right now. In the first place for the Silver Cup is Dean Reimers. Second place belongs to Dule Markovic, who was the Race 1 winner of the Silver Cup. Third place, Mark Klapzul, and fourth place, Mike Magasevich. We are down to just 4 Silver Cup eligible drivers with the loss of Jeff Croshier. Martin Lauer still in the lead, trailed by Wesley Stokes, Alessio DeBonis, and Mark Minahan. These 4 have largely been the ones to get away, largely scot-free, except for DeBonis, who does have some front-end damage. And Dean Reimers in the background, fighting with Mike Mark and getting a little out of shape there. Ben Schwari is perhaps the danger man on both of these guys. I suspect he is faster in that BMW than either of them. In the meantime, Rick Martel, Dule Markovic, and Mark Klapzul are battling it out over 8th place, 8th, 9th, and 10th place here between the Mercedes for Raptura Squadron in the hands of Martel, the Artemis Sport Porsche of Dule Markovic, and the Spitfire Corvette of Mark Klapzul. Klapzul and Markovic had it coming together in race 1. They find themselves largely fighting over similar spots of tarmac once again. I think Markovic is the danger man. He finished 9th in race 1 behind Rick Martel, but it has to be said, he seems to be faster. He was my pick for a guy who could be a danger man in this race to the traditional order, but it has not turned out that way as he has made some mistakes. The Porsche is one of the cars better suited to this track, in my opinion. Hits kind of all that you need to dominate at Sepang. Lauer still in the lead. Stokes under pressure from DeBonis, and is still Minahan in 4th position. DeBonis going down the inside and might have gotten Stokes for 3rd place despite the damage, or for 2nd place despite the damage to his RUF engineered Porsche. Stokes fights back though on the long straights. These Mercedes are very, very good when they're given the straights to work with, but they're not great in the turns. That's where DeBonis is going to be able to strike. Minahan in 4th place, Schwari in 5th place, as it looks like Reimers and Mike Mark have gone off at some point. Let's have a look at what happened there, because they're now back squabbling with Dule Markovic, Mark Klapzul, and Rick Martel in a great 5-way fight for what is now 6th place. So it looks like Reimers may have gotten into the back of Mike Mark. Mike Mark trying to cover off the move. Contact between the 2 cars. Schwari goes through nice and easily. And then, yeah, this fight is going to be interesting, I think, for a couple of laps. Mark Klapzul's kind of fallen off the back of it a little bit, but it's a pretty good 4-car fight for 6th place right now between Rick Martel, Dule Markovic, Mike Mark, and Dean Reimers. And it's Markovic who's going to take that 6th place position and the lead of the silver trophy, by the way, for this race. Reimers, Klapzul getting into the fight as well. This could be very interesting between these 5 cars. Mike Magasevich in the background just kind of probably crossing his fingers for a little carnage. Can Martel make a move on Dule Markovic? I doubt that he will be able to in this sector. The Porsches have been very, very strong in the opening sector. So does the Audi R8 of Martin Lauer, leading the race pretty comfortably. Second place belongs to the Mercedes AMG of Wesley Stokes, but he is under a lot of pressure from the RUF-engineered Porsche of Alessio De Bonis, representing Sox Racing, against the larger Falcon Autosports team. Mark Minahan in the second Audi is in fourth position for Gemini GT Sport, followed by Ben Schwarry in the MWL BMW. Artemis Sports Porsche Dule Markovic, Rick Martel in the Raptora Squadron Mercedes. Very off the track there was Mike Mark, and it's going to allow Dean Reimers to slip up into 8th place. He's in the Lauer teammate Dynamo Lynx Audi R8. And that is the two Spitfires of Mike Mark and Mark Clapp-Zuhl. Martin Lauer finishing his second to last lap, heading on to the final lap after this turn. With the lead, he's led pretty consistently throughout. Wesley Stokes is in second place, followed by Alessio De Bonis. Third place belongs to Mark Minahan. Or fourth place belongs to Mark Minahan, pardon me. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Ben Schwarry, who had a spin that probably took him out of a potential podium position, you'd have to think. He's had good pace, just hasn't quite put a race together. And in the background, it's happening again. Markovic has gone off, and Reimers has taken Martel, and Clapp-Zuhl has taken Mike Mark. We're just going to stay with this battle, I think, for the remainder of the race. This is getting ridiculous. So Dean Reimers is now in the lead of this. Dule Markovic is looking down the inside. Rick Martel is through on him. Markovic is trying to straight back, and on the switchback, Reimers gets him again. Gets spun around by Rick Martel. Through goes Markovic into 6th place, 7th place for Mark Clapp-Zuhl, who's just calmly picking his way through the mess here. Mike Mark up into 8th ahead of Reimers, and the man who made the contact is back down into 10th place. That's Rick Martel. He'll have to worry about Mike Magasevich, who's trying to charge hard. Martin Lauer, in the meantime, just having a quiet race in the front, but the battle for second place is on, and Wesley Stokes loses control. That's going to knock him off the podium for sure. There goes Mark Minahan through. Can Ben Schwarry do it? No, I think he's too far back to rival the Falcon Autosports car, or is he? No, the Falcon Autosports Mercedes is back and going in 4th position, which is where he finished in race 1. Schwarry 5th. 6th is Markovic, ahead of Clapp-Zuhl. Mike Mark and Dean Reimers have been basically battling all race long. It's now over 8th place. And then it is Rick Martel and Mike Magasevich. Heading into the final turn is Martin Lauer to take his first victory of the season. This would be easily enough to put him over the 1,000 point mark of his career. Wesley Stokes is the only other man to do that in zero history. Congratulations to Martin Lauer. He does it in style. Despite the beat-up front end, Alessio De Bonis is going to take home 2nd position, ahead of Mark Minahan in 3rd, who gets a nice podium. And it looks like Lauer ran out of gas at the start-finish line, just enough to get him over there. He's on fumes. 4th place for Wesley Stokes. 2 fourths for him. Ben Schwarry, also another guy who's going to get a duplicate finish at 5th in both races in the BMW. They are struggling to find the strengths of that car. Markovic is leading the fight for 6th place. Clapp-Zuhl gets wide, loses spot to Mike Mark, loses spot to Dean Reimers. So it's Markovic who comes home in 6th place and the Silver Cup winner for the 2nd race in a row. Mike Mark is going to be 7th ahead of Dean Reimers and Mark Clapp-Zuhl. The final points paying position goes to Rick Martel. Mike Magasevich gets nothing. He leaves Sepang with just 1 point to his name for Falcon Autosports. It'll be off to Bathurst next, a classic track that has produced a lot of good racing and a little bit of carnage. We'll see how that goes. Join us next time.